Along with his boys, Chef G and Sleepy Hollow, Eli Fross was one of the hottest up-and-coming drill rappers from Brooklyn. But the rapper was recently involved in a wild shooting in the middle of Times Square after a road rage incident. Let's take a closer look at what went down. On July 15, 2021, Eli Fross was arrested after being caught on a surveillance camera shooting at a biker in the area near 7th Ave and West 41st Street in Midtown Manhattan. According to police, the rapper's white Mercedes knocked over a motorcycle being driven by a 32-year-old man, causing injuries to his knees and elbow. The man's friend confronted a group of dudes standing next to the Mercedes, which is when police say that Eli Fross, real name Elijah Quimina, pulled out a gun and started letting off shots. The 22-year-old told police that Fross fired multiple shots in his direction, but no one got hit. After the shooting, the Mercedes drove away while Eli escaped on foot down 8th Ave. Police reviewed nearby surveillance footage and found that the victim's story lined up with what was captured on camera. Eli was arrested the next day after police linked the Mercedes back to him and charged him with attempted murder, attempted assault, and criminal possession of a weapon.
Police have made an arrest. 20-year-old Quimina Elijah of Brooklyn was walked out of the Midtown South precinct late last night. He faces charges of attempted murder, attempted assault, and weapons possession.
While in court, Eli supposedly bragged that his label was paying for the bond and was hyping up the crowd while waiting to be arraigned. He told the judge that he thinks he accidentally clipped the motorcyclist, and in a fit of road rage, the driver shot at him first, so he only fired back in self-defense. But the judge wasn't convinced by Eli's story, and prosecutors are moving forward with the charges against him. Shooting at someone in Times Square is pretty bold. There's cops and surveillance cameras everywhere, so there's no chance he was getting away with it. Plus, the prosecutors are gonna go extra hard for a conviction since it was a crowded tourist area where a stray bullet could have hit an innocent person. But this ain't the first time that Eli Fross had a run-in with the law. He also got arrested just a few weeks earlier after police caught him carrying a loaded pistol with the serial number scratched off in Kensington, Brooklyn. So he's still facing an open gun charge, which can make his legal situation even worse. Eli Fross is a rapper from Brooklyn, known for tracks like Exposing Me Part 2 and ISO featuring Chef G. Chef and Sleepy Hollow are some of his day one homies, and he's currently signed to their label, Winner Circle Entertainment, through Sony Records. Eli grew up in the Crown Heights neighborhood of Brooklyn and was exposed to music at an early age by his family. He was originally a basketball player, but always dreamed of becoming a rapper. His uncle, who was a rapper, was killed when Eli was younger, and that drove him to carry on his legacy and take it to the next level. He's known Chef for a long time and became friends with Sleepy and the rest of the Winner Circle crew later on. They were like family and pushed each other to become better rappers. When Chef blew up with the track No Suburbans in 2017, it inspired Eli to go even harder and try to find the same success. He started rapping and recording his own music in 2018 at his home studio. He listened to other Brooklyn drill rappers as inspiration to make music that was a blend of old school boom bap, Chicago drill, and UK grime. He started making waves in 2020 after being featured on the Chef G track Picasso with Jay Critch and King Von. He dropped his first project, Caesar, later that year, which featured Sleepy Hollow. Since then, Eli's been on the rise, dropping tracks that have racked up millions of views on YouTube like Miracle and Grim Reaper. Eli was supposed to be featured on Pop Smoke's most recent album, Faith, on the track Top Shotta. They recorded the song while Pop was still alive, and the original version is still on YouTube. But his label ended up just taking Pop's verse and creating a whole new song. The song on the album featured production from Pharrell and the Neptunes, and a verse from Pusha T. This would have been a big look for the up-and-coming artist, but for whatever reason, his verse wasn't included. Rowdy Rebel commented on the situation, sharing his frustration over industry politics, posting on his IG story comparing the original leak version to the album version. The post included, "Shaking my head. I don't understand why my boy not on this track. Ayo Eli Fross, don't trip bro, you know how these industry is, straight suckers." So the label pretty much jacked the verse and remade the song without any respect for the original version. But a lot of fans wasn't happy with the album and the way the label was handling Pop's releases since he died. So it may have been a blessing in disguise that he was left off, even if it would have been a good look. But it's been a tough summer for Winner Circle Entertainment. On the same day that Eli was arrested, Chef G also got arrested for a gun charge and has been behind bars fighting the case ever since. Back in January, Chef was pulled over in his own neighborhood of Flatbush, Brooklyn for an illegal U-turn. When cops pulled him over, they found a loaded 4.5 pistol in the car. Chef has felonies from a case in 2015 for gun and robbery charges. So he can't be in possession of a gun, especially in a city as strict as New York. On July 15th, the same day that Eli was arrested for shooting at the biker, Chef was arrested again for felony gun possession. There ain't too much info about his arrest, but it's possible it's related to his January arrest, and he got locked up again on a technicality. It's also not clear if it had anything to do with Eli's shooting incident in Times Square. Chef was denied bail, and he's been sitting down fighting the case ever since. The rapper has a pretty long rap sheet that mostly includes charges for guns and fighting. So he may be looking at doing some time with this case, because NYC don't play around when it comes to guns. But if Sony can plug him in with a decent lawyer, he might be able to get off on probation and time served. So, with Chef behind bars, Eli Fross should use this opportunity to take his music even further. He may be doing some time for these recent charges, so it would be smart for him to capitalize on the freedom he has now and drop as much music as possible. He recently dropped a track called Mad Max featuring Lil Zay Osama, so it don't seem like he let his legal situation stop his grind. This case is still ongoing, and more news will probably come in the future, so tap in for updates.